Previously in the Peugeot 208 GTI racing experience. 8 drivers came through the grand finale at Ferté-Gaucher, 8 drivers who earned an opportunity to try to compete in the hardest endurance race in the world, the 24 Hours Nurburgring. At the wheel of the 208 GTI Peugeot Sport, these 8 lads are facing up to the biggest challenge of their lives, surviving the Nordschleife, and with the pitfalls numerous, not everyone would see the adventure through.
We cannot keep you for the 24 hours like this.
Three months of waiting, that's 12 weeks of preparation, 84 days filled with frustration, joy and troubles before getting to the long-awaited weekend of the 24 hours. Three 208 GTI Peugeot Sports have been entered for the weekend. The mood is optimistic, although there are fears given the objective that has been set. The team is ready and has but a single goal, that of making the 208 GTI a winning car.
Now I represent Italy for Peugeot, so even for me it's a really big honor to be here and to represent my country in this famous race.
More than 200 cars are entered and Peugeot is determined to shine. Oh, it's incredible being involved in this prestigious race. 250,000 fans are expected to attend and the atmosphere is building at the Nurburgring. It's always a special occasion for endurance lovers. Down in pit lane, the tension is rising.
It's the first time we drove the real GTI here this weekend. It's one of the fastest front-wheel drive cars here at Nurburgring. And I think our goal has to be the first front-wheel drive car to cross the finish line in 24 hours.
It's a 300 horsepower, 1-ton beast that the 8 lads have to get to grips with.
I can't describe how fast the car is. The only way I can get anyone to understand is to sit them in the car.
All the time I want to jump in the car and keep driving because it's so funny and even the track is super cool.
But don't forget, gentlemen, that you're here to fulfill a mission.
Yesterday we had one free practice session on the wet and one day and night qualification session.
There's not much time to adapt and the Nordschleife is foggy and drizzling, complicating things still further for our adventurers.
It was really tricky because with wet condition, fog, it was hard for them. They did only 4 to 5 laps each, so very difficult for the newcomers.
This qualifying session is particularly important as the weather forecast for Saturday is for stronger rain.
Now you are out for 2 complete laps. You do 1 lap to start your lap and then 2 complete
The night
laps.
session is the only opportunity then to set the best time in the SP2T category. Night falls at the Nordschleife and it transforms the circuit as the GTIs light it up. The night is really our biggest enemy. Before running here at night, I thought I knew the circuit and then last night I realized I didn't.
We did 1, 2, 3 on the free practice and qualification session. So far so good.
Sunday, and the Nürburgring is looking at its finest to welcome the some 800 drivers who will take part in the most feared race in the world. Prestigious names resonate in this temple to endurance racing, among them Schneider, Alton, Fassler, Bernard, Dumas and Pilet.
This is it. We are finally here at the Nurburgring, ready to race. Cars are ready to go. Drivers are ready to go. Team is ready to go.
The team welcomes Stefan Epp, a last-minute call-up after Dominic Pikes failed to qualify in the VLN3. Well used to the Nordschleife, Stefan will take the start in the 215.
I was on the trip to a racetrack in Germany. Comes a call from Team of Rings, and he said, "Do you want to drive for Peugeot?" And I said, "Yes, also I want to drive every time, yes." And now I'm here.
It's the day of destiny for these 8 men. 3 months ago, they didn't know each other. The next 24 hours could change their lives forever.
We did good in free practice, we did good in qualifying. I can't wait to start the race.
The race starts. The 216 of Rademacher, Frankenhout, Ritchie and Niederhauser starts from pole in the SP2T class, the category for those with 1600 turbo engines. Alongside is the 208 of Kaye, Piguet, Net and Bora. The 215 of Sontis, Philpott, Andres de Martin and Epp is a few places further back. From the off, the battle is joined with the Minis 127 and 128, who are the GTI's biggest rivals. Have a setup better suited to a dry track, and that means Rademacher and Bora have to be on it from the start. The opening kilometres are fiercely contested, and the 208s are doing their best to follow the pace, which is quicker than had been expected. Racing on this 26-kilometre roller coaster always throws up surprises, and in the 215, caution is the watchword. I feel ready mentally. I think I haven't realised yet what might happen to us. It's meant to rain overnight. That's not something we've had to face up to before. It's going to be stressful, and I hope with all my heart we see it through. Well, the palpable anguish is understandable. What makes the Nordschleife so special is that it's incredibly demanding of men just as much as their machines. A quick trip round makes you understand what the body goes through when the drivers do their stints. To sum up, it's the green hell. It's really tough, and we mustn't forget where we are. There are lots of blind corners here. It's easier during the day in the dry, but I think at night in the rain it's going to be really tough.
Mais de nuit avec la pluie, je pense que là on va avoir une grosse course.
It's damp. It rained 15 kilometers from here but stopped. It's about to arrive here but hasn't yet. Come into the pits, come into the pits. And the first trip into the pits poses the question as to whether the strategy can be altered to improve the car's chances.
We put the setup more for the rain condition, and so with the slick it was a bit difficult. The car is not perfect on the slick condition and on dry condition. But that's it, otherwise take care of everything, and it was quite a quick start, but no more. Not taking risks, not big surprise, nothing like that. And so let's go.
Time ticks by and the long-awaited rain still hasn't come through. The 24 hours Nurburgring is in full swing. The 208 and 216 are still fighting for a podium finish. Cyrus Ayari and Olivier Perez's men continue to look skywards, and it's definitely getting darker. They may not be doing a rain dance, but they are getting impatient waiting for the rain to fall. even though they know it will just make things all the more difficult. The drivers are concentrating on the track, but they're starting to worry about the arrival of the rain too.
We'll talk about rain at the bright side. What about the other part of the track? Please tell me. If the rain comes, you will come and stay in the car and train.
At 9 in the evening, the deluge commences in the Eifel region, and 130 millimetres of rainfall are expected in the next 24 hours. For GTI Racing, it's panic stations, as all the cars have to come into the pits at the same time.
It just turned crazy now with the rain. As you saw, with a nice start, we were battling for the first position with one Mini. Then the Mini had an issue, so we just went back 1-2. The second Mini just behind, still now third, and then our third car is 4. I guess now we are 50 in scratch, and the third car is 57th.
The car behind us is the Mini, is 2 minutes back.
The storm continues and the track conditions become ever more complicated, to the point where the race direction decides to call a halt to proceedings and bring out the red flag. It's not worth taking risks and asking the drivers to cope with extreme danger. Each team is allowed to work on the cars to get them in the right state for the restart, which we hope will happen soon. It's a bit frustrating for the drivers who had just taken over at the wheel. Matthias Sontis had done under 2 laps before being called into the pits. It was impossible to drive, as when we got over 120 or 130 kilometers per hour, it was into aquaplaning. There was a wall of water in front of the car and no visibility. I think there was no other solution but to stop the race. It was really dangerous to drive in these conditions. At the time of the red flag, the 208s are first, second and fourth in their class. All that needs to be known now is when things will get going again. After several hours of waiting, the decision comes in. The 24 hours Nurburgring will not restart before 8 on Monday morning. It's not safe enough to do anything else. It goes down like a lead balloon in the stands, and the least courageous spectators start to pack up and go home. For the drivers of the Peugeot 208 GTI Racing Experience, it's their calmest night of the week. 8 in the morning and a new starting procedure is put in place. The rain hasn't stopped entirely, but at least there's enough visibility to allow the survivors to get going again. The standings are the same. The 208 leads the way, while the 216 and 215 are attempting to get back on the podium. Not having raced at night is undoubtedly frustrating for the drivers, but there's still a race to be won.
Last night it was Green Hill and they stopped the race. I think that was a good thing for them to do, out of safety. Okay, it's not like a 24 hours, it's more like a 7 + 9 hour race, but yeah, okay, that's racing, everybody has the same.
For the leader of the SP2T class, the GTI 208, the morning doesn't go all that well. Electrical problems handicap the car, and the drivers have to come into the pits in order to attempt to resolve the problems. Their leader's spot is now threatened by the 216, which is hoping to hit the front. The stop for the 208 lasts ages. The drivers are worried and complain about the way their car is handling. The car does seem to be suffering.
Just before the red flag we were leader, and this morning on the restart we did many technical problems, so to come back on the pit many times to lose, and now we try to push to catch first of all the Mini and to catch the 216, but it's not easy because all the better drivers are on the car and the gap is square.
For the 208, as Marcus Gronholm would say, there's only one thing left to do. That's maximum attack. The 215 continues its serene progress, and the drivers have no need to ask questions of themselves. The choice of going with the rain tyres seems to offer extra security. They're still in with a podium chance, and it would be a shame for them to be surprised by a storm. For the class leader, the 216, the question is whether to keep taking risks. The track is still not dry in certain places. The advantage over the Mini 128 is under 4 minutes now. The slightest mistake and the leadership will fall to their opponents.
And I want to tell you is before carousel there is a chicane like this, and then there is wet. No, the first one before the right one before. Okay, so take attention there.
Small chicane before first carousel. Small chicane before first carousel, which is a bit humid. Okay, I understand.
The team decides to take things down a notch and tells the drivers to ease off a bit. The track is a permanent trap as it alternates dry and wet patches, making life extra awkward for engineers and strategists. The Mini is progressively closing on the 216.
I think now my teammate need to push a little bit more, because my stint, unfortunately, because the track was dry, was not so fast with the wet tire, so the gap is get a little bit less. But you know, we are crossing the finger, and hopefully we can take the real goal.
The GTI 215 has work to do. The overnight interruption did not fall well for it. For now, it's running fourth, and the gap to the Mini 127 is too large for them to make up in the remaining 3 hours if it comes down to incident-free racing. They're relying on a mechanical mishap for their rivals.
Yeah, I'm a little frustrated that we lost 9 hours, because our cars have been very reliable, and the car that we're competing against right now, the car that we need to pass to get third, seems to be a little bit less reliable. And the longer the race, obviously the more chance they're going to run into problems. We've had fewer stints to drive each because of the rain, but nobody can control the weather, so it's no problem.
And those problems for the Mini did come to pass as the car had to spend long minutes in the pits with the bonnet up. The breakdown seems a bad one, and the Peugeot 215 climbs onto the provisional podium. A historic 1-2-3 looks like it could be on the cards for Peugeot. It's very tight with the Mini. We're 3 minutes 30 up. There's still everything to be done, and we're going to have to stop again. It will be difficult as they consume less fuel than us. They're going to have a shorter stop. We'll fight until the end. At that final stop, 4 slicks are put onto the GTI 215 in order to put a gap between the car and its closest rival. It's then time for the leaders to come into the pits, and it's Swiss driver Johnny Niederhauser who will finish the race. The experience of the team means dreams are permitted. If no mistakes are made, then the lead of several minutes should be enough for the team of Frankenhut, Rademacher, Ritchie and Niederhauser to get the win they want so badly. In the pits, there's a more relaxed atmosphere now. People are telling stories and trying to put victory to the back of their minds until it's 100% guaranteed.
Yeah, the objective we had told by Cyrus and by Alipio just to stay cool and just do our laps and now finish the race. But it's still an hour. You never know what happens, but we have still a couple of minutes ahead of the next car. So Johnny is now in the car, and yeah, I think cruising home a little bit, but still on a good pace.
The Peugeot 208 GTI number 216 leads its category. The drivers of the 208 give it their all in an attempt to get back on terms. They're second. And the 215 completes the podium for the moment. The countdown has started. In a few seconds, the drivers of the 208 GTI Racing Experience will succeed in being successful in the challenge laid down to them, winning the 24 Hours Nurburgring. It's done. You've won the race. It's fantastic. And we've got a beautiful Peugeot 123. It's the third straight victory for the Peugeot team in the 24 Hours Nurburgring. But this time, the real achievement is putting 3 cars on the podium, with novices that have been selected from the 4 corners of Europe. The 24 Hours Nurburgring is fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant. Getting a result like that is simply exceptional. It's true, it's going to have a special place in my heart. It's something I'll be able to tell a story about later in life. In its one and only race, the 208 GTI tastes glory.
Nurburgring, Nordschleife, the Green Hell, it's crazy, really crazy, and it was this weekend. And yeah, then you don't know what to expect, but we did it, and we did a good job.
We're second, and that's a good finish, behind protagonists such as Rademacher and Frankenhout. That has huge value for us, and the cars are so beautiful, and I'm very, very happy.
It's very difficult race to finish, and to finish with all Peugeot on the podium is completely amazing.
It's the first track race I've done, and on the most amazing circuit in the world. We've got a great result here, that's super, and it will stay with me forever.
Driving around any normal, flat-ish, wide circuit is going to feel a little bit tame. And I think, as everyone says, driving around this circuit, especially in this race, gives you the bug, and I definitely have the bug, and I really want to come back. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to find a drive in the next years, and I want to become an expert like the guys on the 208 car.